Okay. Hey, it's Adam, and in this video, I'm super excited to be showing you how to shift yourself into being consciousness. Now, honestly, I think that this is the most important topic that exists because being consciousness is the pinnacle of all human growth. So if you're someone who's interested in personal development or self-actualization, even spirituality, then you need to understand what being consciousness is, how it differs from survival consciousness, which I'm going to be showing you here. And once you understand the big picture for what this word, being consciousness, what this actually means, once you get the conceptual understanding, then you're basically going to have a roadmap so that on your personal development self-actualization journey, you actually know where you're going and you can actually tell whether or not you're growing properly or if you're getting lost in traps and pitfalls. So this is the ultimate goal of all human growth. And also this episode is going to be extremely grounded and practical because once you learn how to shift yourself into being consciousness, this actually has very practical effects on your relationships, your dating skills, your business, your health, your emotional well-being, your spiritual growth. This topic infects every single aspect of your life. That's why it's so important, and that's why I'm super excited to talk to you about it today. If you stick through with me by the end of this episode, you're going to know what the difference between survival and being consciousness is. You're going to know a whole list of techniques for how to shift yourself into being consciousness. And then I'm going to show you how to practically apply this information in virtually every single aspect of your personal life. And then also how to apply it collectively into politics, education, environmental issues, so into collective problems as well. All right. So let's get started. Now, let's give you some context for how I actually came up with this video in the first place. So am I just pulling this information out of my ass? No, well, I'm actually someone who's very interested in studying psychology, spirituality, personal development. This is just something that interests my mind. I genuinely enjoy buying books, reading them, learning about models of human growth, such as Maslow's Hierarchy of Needs, such as spiral dynamics, such as ego development theory, David Hawkins' scale of consciousness. And what I've noticed by kind of studying all these models, I've noticed that there's a very interesting pattern. And when you start to learn about human development and human growth, you start to see these patterns. And this one pattern we're going to be talking about today, which I think is a very important one to understand, is the shift from survival consciousness into being consciousness. This is what Abraham Maslow calls shifting from deficiency needs into being needs. This is what spiral dynamics calls shifting from tier 1 stages. So if you watch my spiral dynamics video, then you know about stage beige, purple, red, blue, orange, green. And then once you pass green, you shift from tier 1 stages into tier 2 stages. And the qualities, what that means to shift from tier 1 to tier 2, that's exactly what we're going to be talking about here in this video. And what you find that in basically all of these developmental models, in Ken Wilber's integral theory, David Hawkins' scale of consciousness, like I mentioned, there is a shift that happens in the upper levels of human development when the human being develops themselves sufficiently. They get to a point. And this is a point where what Maslow called shifting into being needs. So in Maslow's hierarchy, You have the food needs, where you can't grow and develop unless you solve your food needs. And then you move up to the next needs. So then you need security. Then you need belonging. You need love from your family. Then you need esteem. You need respect from other people. And then once you've kind of solved these needs and you got them into order, now you're ready to shift from deficiency needs into being needs. So this is deficiency needs, and then these up here are being needs. That's when you shift into self-actualization needs, which Maslow himself actually defined this shift. I have his book here, Toward a Psychology of Being. He gave you some qualities of what this actually means to shift from deficiency to being needs, which is the overall topic of this video today. So Maslow says when you shift from deficiency needs to being needs, that gives you a superior perception of reality. It gives you increased acceptance of self, of others and nature, increased spontaneity, increased problem-solving abilities, increased detachment and desire for privacy, increased autonomy, you're able to think for yourself, increased creativeness, more democratic character structure, so you're not always fighting yourself, and there's a whole other list of benefits which we're going to go into here. But the point I just wanted to make here is that when we study all kinds of models of human growth, we start to see a pattern. And the pattern is that there is a shift that occurs in the human psyche when we're shifting from survival needs to being needs. All right, so now let's get into the main topic of the video, which is what is the difference between survival needs and being needs? So the way I decided to do this is that we're going to draw a line right in the middle of the board here. On the left side, we're going to put survival cognition, survival. And then on the right here, we're going to put being. Now, personally in my own life, I noticed that just by understanding what I'm about to say, just by understanding it conceptually and getting it into your mind and understanding, using your mind, what is actually going on here in human growth, once you get the conceptual understanding down, then this is actually the major step that you need to take in order to shift yourself into being consciousness. So sure, I could come up here and say, hey, yeah, so you just need to meditate in order to shift into being consciousness, but that's not actually going to help you because you don't have the mental model of what is actually going on. If I tell you to meditate, which I am going to tell you to do later, spoiler alert, one of the techniques is to meditate. I could just come up here and say, yeah, you got to meditate, you got to read books, you got to journal. Okay, but now you don't actually understand what is going on the big picture level. So what I'm showing you here is the overall direction of all human growth. So when you study these models like spiral dynamics, ego development theory, integral theory, you notice that beyond the shred of a doubt, all humans are on the same path of growth. And if you zoom out far enough, you see that the pattern is that basically we're shifting from survival cognition into being cognition. Okay, so first of all, the main characteristic of survival cognition is selfishness. Whereas being cognition is selfless. So what does this mean? So when we're lower on Maslow's hierarchy, we are worried about solving our survival needs. We need food. in order to survive. If you didn't eat any food at all today and you haven't eaten in days, you would have no reason to listen to this hour-long video about some practical personal development information, because you don't care about this stuff. This is self-actualization needs that we're talking about today. But if you're stuck on the food needs, you would not be able to listen to me because your stomach would be growling, and then you would be out trying to find some food to eat so that you don't die. So your survival needs they need to be solved so that you can self-actualize yourself. But what I noticed, which is very interesting, is that in our modern 21st century society, for the most part, your basic needs are solved for you. You have food, you have security, we have laws, there's not animals like jaguars out there coming to like bite your neck. Like when you walk out during the day, you don't have to worry about a gorilla coming and like pounding your chest open. We have security, we have laws. Also belonging, most people have some friends and family, which is enough for the belonging needs. And the esteem needs is just your career and getting respect from other people. Most people today are working on the belonging and the esteem needs. But what I noticed is that if you can shift into self-actualization even before you've solved belonging and esteem, then what I've noticed is that by shifting into self-actualization, which is what we're talking about today, that actually helps you to retroactively solve the bottom needs. So if you can kind of shift into the top, let's go back to Maslow's hierarchy. If you can shift into self-actualization even before you've totally solved esteem, belonging, and security, then what the self-actualization stage will actually help you do is to solve these stages in a more conscious way. And you'll actually get much better results, which is why what we're going to be talking about today will get you much better results in your dating, relationships, business, health, emotional well-being, and all of that, which I already mentioned. So the main quality here is that survival needs are selfish. So when you're stuck on those lower needs, you only care about me. What's in it for me? What's going to help me survive? Even when I frame this video that I'm sharing with you today, I have to frame it in a way that this video is going to give you some kind of survival benefit. Because if I didn't frame the video that way, if I said, hey guys, this video is going to help you to grow all of humanity, you might say, okay, sure, it's going to help me grow all of humanity, but I don't really care about that. Really, Adam, can you help me with my relationship? Or can you help me with my business? So whenever I'm talking about this self-actualization content, I need to phrase it in a way so that it actually hooks into your mind. So you say, okay, this is going to help me with my relationship and with my business. Now, what I could do is I could come up here and give you a quick technique. Say, hey guys, here's a quick 5-minute video. I got one technique that's gonna help you attract more girls. Or hey, I got one technique that's gonna help you with your business. And many other creators already do that. But what you are missing is the overall big picture context for, wait a second, what is actually going on here on the big picture level in terms of my own development and my own self-actualization? This here is the overall direction of all of growth. We're moving from selfishness to selflessness. So what Maslow said is the deficiency needs are only about solving a certain lack in your life. So I have a lack of sexual options, or I have a lack of money from my business, or a lack of food. So when you are living your life, you're living from a place of lack, where I'm deficient. I don't have enough of this thing that I need. So my whole mind is warping reality just so that I can get what I lack. As opposed to when you shift into being cognition, you're shifting from a place of lack where I don't have enough relationships. I don't have enough money in my business. I don't have enough a respect from other people. We're shifting from lack into abundance. Now the attitude here is, now I have enough. I have so much that now I'm actually interested in sharing my abundance with the whole world. So I've solved my deficiency needs. Now I'm in abundance. Now I have, my cup is overflowing, and I want my love to overflow to the entire world. I want to share my wisdom. I want to share my abundance, all the lessons I've learned. I want to teach people. I want to help people grow. I'm shifting from lack into abundance needs. And this is the shift from survival to being. So the deficiency needs are, I don't have enough. But then the being needs are, how can I move towards something that's positive? So the survival needs are moving away from what you don't want. This is negative motivation. I don't want to be poor. I don't want to be lonely. I don't want to be made fun of. But when we're moving into being cognition, we're actually shifting from away motivation, so negative motivation, into towards, or positive motivation. So what am I moving towards? What beautiful thing am I looking to create? So no longer it's just about me getting enough money so that I'm not poor, but now it's about, how am I going to make that money so that I can help the well-being of humanity? What kind of positive result do I want to create in my client's life? What kind of impact do I want my business to make for my customers? How do I want my business to change my customer's life? What's my mission? So many conscious businesses who are operating from being cognition, they have a mission statement. Our mission is to help 1 million children get enough food to eat. Our mission is to teach business owners how to operate their business in a conscious way that helps the well-being of the whole system of society. So by having a mission statement or a purpose in your life, something positive that you're moving towards, that creates a lot of clarity, and that is actually moving you into being cognition. That's helping you develop yourself as a person. As opposed to survival cognition is very distracted. This is the shiny object syndrome, where because we're so worried about all the things we don't have, we're in deficiency cognition. Our business doesn't have enough money. Our relationships are all falling apart. I don't have enough options with girls or with guys. Now what happens is you become distracted, where you're online, you're on your phone, and you're looking for, okay, I need some help with dating advice, for example, and you find these dating teachers, but they're not really teaching you the principles of dating. They're not teaching you that in order to get the best results with women or with men, Really what you need fundamentally is to shift from survival cognition into being cognition. You need to shift from lack, which is neediness, you need to shift into abundance. See how this gets practical now? So dating teachers, they'll say, okay, don't be needy. You know, you need to, if you're a guy, you need to put on the air as if you have plenty of options with women, that you're abundant, you're not needy. You don't need this one girl to like you. If this one girl doesn't like you, it doesn't matter to you because you can just go on to the next one because you have an abundance of options. So the teachers, they'll tell you, yeah, you know, just stop being needy, you know, just shift into abundance. And then they'll give you a technique, just one thing you can do to kind of just trick yourself to shift your mindset into thinking you're abundant. But what I've noticed personally in my own life is that as I do personal development in all aspects of my life, dating, business, meditation, spirituality, learning, understanding how reality works, that is what allows me to shift at the core of my being, where I'm not just pretending to be abundant. I'm not using a technique or a hack to kind of like trick the girl, trick her psychology into like liking me, use some kind of like specific pickup line or some specific sentence that I say that gets the girl attracted to me. It's not about what I say, it's about who I am. I'm being. See, it's about my being. Who am I being? Am I abundant or am I lacking? All right, so we're actually going to get more into the practical examples as the video goes on. So distracted to clarity. Now, we need to erase these because we have tons of examples here. So also, when you're shifting from survival cognition into being cognition, there's a lot of attachment here. Attachment. Now, if you've studied law of attraction, then you'll notice a lot of the law of attraction teachers on YouTube nowadays, they are talking about letting go of attachment. Letting go is being cognition. Now, why is this? So when you first hear about law of attraction, you think it's like, oh, I can just kind of visualize what I want and then I'll be able to get it. So I can just sit on my couch, I can visualize $1 million, and then the next day I'll have $1 million in my bank account. That's like the first impression that most people have of law of attraction. But nowadays I've noticed that the message has been shifting. So now the gurus and the teachers, they're not talking about visualizing what you want, but instead what they're talking about is letting go of attachment. Now, why does it work like this? Well, the Buddha himself said that all suffering is caused by attachment. When you're clinging to any aspect of reality, you are in survival cognition, you're in ego consciousness. You're clinging. You're attached to a specific outcome. Whenever you're attached, you're actually in resistance. You're in resistance to reality as opposed to flowing with the natural flow of reality. And this is because you're trying to control existence. You're trying to manipulate your habits, your mind, your friends, your clients in your business, women that you're trying to attract, or men. You're trying to manipulate reality and to control it to serve your selfish needs, as opposed to allowing reality to flow naturally and to trust that what you need will come to you as long as you have faith and you trust. You work when it's time, and then you rest when it's time. So when I say the word allowing, many people become afraid. They're like, allowing, does that mean, Adam, that I can just sit on my couch all day and never work and then expect to make money? If I just allow everything, then I'm going to be broke. I'm going to be poor. If I go to the club and I just sit on the bench and just allow the women to come to me, I'm going to leave with no results at all. I'm going to have no women because I'm passive. So when I talk about allowing, I'm not talking about being passive in your life. I'm talking about becoming conscious of the natural flow of life by being mindful and aware, by being present in the moment and connected to your body. Because if you haven't noticed yet, your body gives you emotional signals for when it's right to take a certain action or when it's wrong. So for example, if you see that there's some pizza to eat and it's all cheesy, gooey, it's got the pepperoni on it, and you see this pizza and it smells so good, in that moment, if you take a pause and you actually listen to your body, you'll notice that there's a certain contraction that happens. Your body kind of turns away from the pizza, or it contracts. You can kind of feel it in your gut or maybe your chest or your shoulders. When you see that pizza, subconsciously you know that it's not good for you. Whereas on the other hand, if I made for you like a salad with spinach and I was gonna say tomatoes, but some people say tomatoes aren't that healthy. But I made a salad, got some cucumbers, some peppers, cut up some raw vegetables, right? And I put some olive oil on it, some salt and pepper. Then when you see that salad, you don't feel resistance to eating it. You actually you feel open. Your body actually opens up and is like, yeah, please give me that salad, because subconsciously you know that there's nutrients in there that are good for you. Vitamins that you need. As opposed to the pizza, you'll notice this subconsciously. If you're mindful and you meditate and you pay attention to your body, you'll see your body contracts when something's not good for you, and it opens up and embraces and allows when something is good for you. Now, what does this have to do with what we're talking about? So when you pay attention to your body, when you're grounded in the moment, then it's actually very natural to go with the flow of life. So you'll know intuitively what is good for you and what is bad for you. I honestly think this is like the main key to all success that I've ever gotten in my life. My ability to succeed in dating and in business and in my health and all of this, all success has to do with, are you connected to your intuition? Are you listening to what your mind is trying to tell you, what your heart is trying to tell you? In each moment, intuitively, you know what the right action is. The problem is you're not listening. You're too distracted. You're too worried and anxious. You're functioning from deficiency. You're trying to avoid pain. You're afraid. You're not even paying attention to what your body's telling you. So workaholics have this problem where sometimes it's okay to rest. If you've been working 12 hours every single day and you're trying to get your business up and running, people think, oh, it takes 16-hour days to get my business up and running. Every single day I'm going to work and work and work and work and work and work. But in that case, what you're doing is you're trying to force reality to be a certain way. You're trying to force this thing to happen. You're in a state of resistance. You feel like you actually have to fight against reality in order to achieve your goals. This is the hustle culture, where it's like rise and grind. Like, are you grinding? It's like you gotta grind. You gotta work 16-hour days. You gotta go to the gym, work out 2 hours. You gotta get ahead of the competition. You need to fight against your competitors. You need to fight against the resistance, the haters. You gotta fight. Goal achievement is actually significantly easier when you are conscious and you're paying attention to the natural flow of life. So sometimes you might notice that if you've been working, sometimes it's actually good just to take a break. Just to take an hour off, take 2 hours off, go for a walk, relax, stop thinking about work, let it go. Just hang out, chill out. And then in that moment when you relax and you let go of attachment, you might realize that you actually have a spontaneous insight, a creative insight for a new direction to take your business. Or you figure out how to solve that problem that you've been hitting your head up against because you just relax. You focus out of survival and you move into being. All right, so that's very, very relevant. Yeah, so we got to stop fighting against reality. When you're in survival cognition, you're basically very insecure. So we can put insecure here, where you feel like the universe doesn't have your back. You feel like you're all alone here in the world. The world is a scary, dangerous place, and that you have no support. So you're insecure, you're not secure. But when you raise your consciousness, do the practices that I'm going to tell you about, when you do personal development, self-actualization, spiritual work, then you actually move from being insecure to being more secure, where you're trusting the universe. You're trusting that things are going to work out best case scenario. As long as you're conscious and you're listening to your intuition, you'll find that things tend to work out well. And this is also important in social interactions as well, the difference between insecurity and security. Really what this stems from is the reason why you're insecure is because you're hiding. So if you're someone who is like insecure in social interactions where you're in your head worried about what other people are going to think of you, you feel like you're not good enough, you feel like you lack worthiness, like you're not worthy to be happy, or you need to try so hard so that other people will like you. You're insecure with how you naturally are. The reason why is because you're hiding from yourself. There are certain aspects of yourself that you're failing to own. And I talk about this a lot more in my video, Where Are You Hiding? But what this means is there's something about yourself that you don't like. You're not owning a certain aspect of yourself. So maybe it's the way your face looks. Maybe it's the way you talk. Maybe it's you have weird hobbies or weird opinions. Maybe it's you have addictions like porn or video games or food, junk food, or smoking weed. You have addictions and you don't want other people to see this. You don't even want yourself to see this. You're hiding. But when we move out of survival cognition into being cognition, we move from hiding to transparency. So the word transparent, that means like when a piece of glass is like see-through. You can see right through it. There's nothing that's being hidden. So the sage who is developing themselves, who is on the path of self-actualization, becoming the best version of themselves, we're moving from hiding to transparency. You got everything out in the open. I have nothing to hide. That's also very attractive if you're a guy who's trying to attract women or a girl who's trying to attract a guy. This is really the secret key. If you're hiding something, you're insecure. And that causes you to be fake. Now, since I'm hiding a part of myself, maybe my teeth, right? I don't like the way my teeth look, so I'm hiding. See, now I'm going to smile in a fake way. I'm going to kind of keep my lips closed because I don't want the guy to see my teeth because I'm insecure. I think they're ugly. So I'm going to smile with my lips together and I'm going to give off fake energy. I have something to hide. I'm afraid of being seen. The reason why is because you fundamentally think there's something wrong with you. Even though you're here, you're alive, you are an expression of God's beauty. You're a perfect expression of reality. Reality itself, including you, is perfect. Everything is exactly as it should be. But you're selfish. You have all this conditioning, all this enculturation from how you think a girl should look, from the movies you watch, and from the social media posts you see. So now you're afraid of being seen how you actually are without your makeup. You have to always put on a mask when you go out. Literally with makeup, and figuratively, if you're a guy, maybe you don't wear makeup. Figuratively, you put on a mask. You put on an act. You pretend to be a certain way that you're not. You laugh too hard at people's jokes. Or you're overly friendly. You're afraid to disagree with people. You're afraid to share your controversial opinion. The reason why is because you don't accept yourself. You're not self-accepting. Maslow said the mark of the self-actualizing person is to move from self-judgment to self-acceptance. That has to do with transparency. So when, again, back to that dating interaction, if you're a guy, be transparent. Be open. Be 100% authentic. If, let's say you're walking with a girl, right, and you guys are on a date, and you guys, let's say you guys have got locked arms, you're walking with the girl, and then you see a skunk that walks along the grass beside you, and it surprises you, and it scares you, and you jump a little bit. You're like, oh shit, it's a skunk. So if you're hiding, if you feel like you have to put on an act, like you have to pretend to be strong and masculine so that the girl will like you, what you'll do is you'll start to be fake. The girl knows that the skunk scared the shit out of you. She felt you jump. But what you're going to do is like, oh, that didn't scare me at all. I'm so strong and masculine. Look, feel my muscles. Oh, wow, I'm so strong. See, that's fake. How can she trust you now? How can she open up to you if you're not even willing to open up to her? Whereas on the other hand, if you're practicing honesty and transparency, which is another word for honesty, then when you see that skunk and it scares you and you jump, what you're going to say instead is, holy fuck, that skunk almost made me shit my pants. What the hell? I almost screamed like a little girl. And then this will actually make the girl laugh. She'll actually love that because you're being authentic. Most guys aren't willing to share those aspects of themselves that are embarrassing, those aspects of themselves that are conventionally looked down upon. So guys always want to pretend like they're strong. If sometimes you be honest with the girl, say, hey, sometimes I'm a pussy. Like, I'm not always strong. Like, that skunk scared the shit out of me. I almost cried and like ran away. That'll actually make her laugh. And that'll actually make her trust you more. Now she's going to be okay with being vulnerable with you because you are vulnerable with her. The same is true with business, with your clients. When let's say you're on a sales call with a client and the client asks you, hey, is your program going to help me with this aspect of my life? And you be honest with them and say, no, honestly, my program isn't going to help you with that aspect of your life. Maybe this program isn't right for you. So I'm not going to be fake and say, oh yeah, sure, oh, this program's right for you, just hurry up and give me your money. No, it's like, hey, you know, honestly, if what you need is a better funnel for your business or whatever, then I can't help you. I'm sorry. That's not my area of expertise. And, you know, I'm actually going to recommend you to my friend who can help you. But I can't help you. So see, you're being transparent. You're being honest. Many business owners, salespeople, they want to pretend like they know everything. Oh yeah, my product can help you with all of your problems. But the client will sense that you're being fake. Right? So if you want to sell a good program, make sure you know the limitations of your program. So yeah, no, honestly, I can't help you. I'm sorry. But, you know, I can recommend you to someone else who can help you. And that will create trust, right? And then in the future, that client might recommend his friend who is more of an ideal fit for your program. Because you've built trust with him. You're honest. You're transparent. All right? Okay, let's move on to more qualities of survival versus being cognition. One of my favorites is that survival cognition is judgmental. Okay? Whereas being cognition is accepting. This is the first thing that I noticed when I started practicing meditation 5 years ago, when I started doing 20 minutes of meditation, watching my thoughts every single day. The first thing I noticed was how judgmental I am of other people and also of myself. So what is judgment? Judgment is when you assign a value to any piece of reality and you call it good or bad. So all of reality is neutral until you add a judgment. So there's that famous Shakespeare quote, nothing is inherently good or bad, but thinking makes it so. So that's 100% true. All of existence is just existing. But when you're selfish, when you have a bias, when you're identified with the separate self, the ego, then now certain things become good or bad. So when I start talking about the Holocaust, or Hitler murdering 6 million Jews and burning them all to death, their families, little women and children, you might say, holy fuck, that's bad. Well, ultimately, nothing is good or bad. When a coyote is eating a rabbit, to the rabbit, the coyote is bad. If the rabbit gets away, that's good for the rabbit, but that's bad for the coyote, because the coyote missed his meal. So these good, bad, the value judgments, it's relative. And some people disagree with me. They'll say, no, Adam, are you kidding me? Capitalism is objectively bad. Or murder is objectively bad. Rape, are you trying to tell me rape is neutral? Yes, I am trying to tell you rape is neutral. In the same way, when you shift into being cognition, you realize that reality is a dream. and that all things that happen in your dream are perfect. It's like you're watching a movie and you see a rape scene on the movie, and then you say, oh, this is a bad movie. You know, this movie is bad. This is an evil movie. No, see, it's just a movie. It's okay. The girl on the screen isn't actually being raped. It's just like, it's imaginary. It's just pretend. Now, we have to be very careful with this topic here. I could dig myself into a hole. It's just important to recognize that judgments are relative to your selfish ego. And the more you fight with me on this topic, the more you're actually digging yourself deeper into survival cognition. Because ultimately, your true nature is not a human being with a name and with a story. Your true nature is actually nothingness. Nothing at all. That's what you actually are. Nothing at all. So what can be good or bad for nothing at all? Nothing is good for nothing, and nothing is bad for nothing. If you realize what you are is nothingness, everything in reality seems perfect. Not good or bad, just perfect, just the way it is. That's why he or she who moves into being cognition becomes ultimately accepting, where we accept the present moment exactly as it is without making a judgment. This goes back to transparency as well. So when you judge yourself, so let's say you miss your friend's funeral, your friend's dad passes away, and you miss their funeral because you accidentally schedule it the wrong day on your phone. Now, you might think that you're a bad person now. Oh, I'm such a bad person. I missed my friend's father's funeral. Holy shit, I'm a bad person. See, you're attached. You're selfish. Really, you need to realize that it doesn't fucking matter. It's okay. It's okay. Okay? Accepting. You know, oh yeah, okay, maybe there's some effect. Maybe my friend doesn't talk to me anymore, or they hate me. But if I go up to them and I explain, say, hey man, listen, I really made a mistake. I really, scheduled it at the wrong day. I'm so sorry. How can I make it up to you? If they're a true friend, they'll say, it's okay, man. Shit happens. Let's go get some lunch or something. But if they're not a true friend, they'll say, no, you're a bad friend. I'm not talking to you anymore. How dare you miss my dad's funeral? And see, that's actually good that happens. Because if your quote-unquote friend won't forgive you, then you really don't want them to be your friend anyways. So if they forgive you, it's fine. If they don't forgive you, that's fine too. Because now you know who's your friend and who's not your friend. So ultimately, if you zoom out far enough, every single thing that happens is ultimately good. So good or bad, it's an ego judgment, and that actually brings us into the point of one of my favorite topics, demonization. Oh my god, I'm gonna make a whole video about demonization. I love this topic. Where human beings think that other human beings are evil. Oh, the Nazis, they're evil people. Oh, the liberals, they're devil worshippers. They literally make other human beings into demons. Because the ego, especially when it's in the lower levels of development, like the first tier stages, so blue, orange, green, which is relevant to spiral dynamics. Demonization is the way that the ego separates itself from other people and fails to self-reflect. So one of my favorite examples of this, which I'll share in my demonization video, but My favorite example of demonization was the other day I was watching a video called The Uncanny Joy of the Holocaust or something like that, where this YouTube video showed pictures of Nazis that were stationed at a camp maybe a few miles out of Auschwitz. They were stationed at a camp, and these Nazis were having a great time. They were partying, they were drinking, they were taking funny pictures, they were laughing. And a few miles down the road at Auschwitz, they knew that Jews were being burned and murdered systematically. Hundreds of, thousands of human beings were being murdered just a few miles down. Yet they're over here drinking and partying and having a good time and making jokes. So I was watching this video, I thought it was pretty interesting, and then you saw a Holocaust survivor, a Jewish woman. She was looking at those pictures, and this poor woman, she went through the horrors of the Holocaust, which I've only read about. I can't imagine, experiencing that. But she went through those horrors, and she was looking at the pictures of the Nazis having a good time, and she said to the camera, she said, "Those people, I don't even know what they are. They're not even people. They must be demons or something. But those things on that picture, not even people." I cannot understand how any real human being would be able to have fun and dance while meanwhile the Holocaust is happening and they're the cause of it. So this kind of actually lit up a light bulb in my head, because I've been studying a lot of these topics for years now, and this lit up a light bulb because I realized, wait a second, didn't the Nazis use the exact same tactic, the same method of demonization to actually start the Holocaust in the first place? They would say, oh, the Jews, they're not even people. They're rats, they're vermin. They need to be cleansed from the earth. Because they're demons. So Hitler was actually a kind of a conspiracy theorist, because he believed that the Jews were like secretly manipulating all of Germany's economy and everything, and the Jews were the reason why Germany was in an economic depression and had all of these problems in that time. So he used demonization. He demonized and scapegoated the Jews. Demonization is when you remove the human aspect from another person. You make another person seem unhuman. You call them a demon with horns. So when you play a video game, rarely do you have a lot of fun if you're murdering innocent civilians. So the game will intentionally make the enemies, they'll put them with horns, with fangs. They'll actually make them look like demons so that you have a much more fun time killing them and murdering them. But the game would be a lot less fun if you realize that the people you're murdering, like imagine a video game like Doom Eternal, where you're shotgunning demons in the face and you're chainsawing them in half. It's fun because they're demons. But imagine you're doing the exact same thing to like innocent women and children. You see like children like playing and having fun with each other, and then you're like chainsawing them in half. So you wouldn't want to do that, because when you see children playing, you're like, oh shit, they're human. I don't want to kill them. They're innocent, just like me. But when you see a demon that's like trying to kill you, then it's like, oh, okay, now I have no problem chainsawing him in half because he's a demon. So the woman in the video, the Holocaust survivor, she demonized the Nazis, but she's not realizing that the Nazis, the actual mechanism of demonization is what caused the Holocaust in the first place. So in this exact instance, that woman is no better than a Nazi. That woman had the exact same thinking style as the Nazis did. So in a really fucked up and twisted way, she persecuted herself in the Holocaust. It's a really like non-dual, like twisted mindfuck, but it's like her own consciousness is what caused the horrors of the Holocaust in the first place. That selfish, egotistical mechanism of demonization. That's exactly what caused the Holocaust. And then the Jewish woman who survived the Holocaust, she's still using demonization. So the Nazis who were laughing and having fun and the Jewish woman who was a victim, they had a lot more in common than the Jewish woman thought. A lot more in common. Both of them were stuck in survival cognition. Neither of them moved into being cognition. And if the tables were turned, that Jewish woman would have committed the exact same atrocities as the Nazis would have. And that's what's so beautiful about learning about the Holocaust, is that we're learning not that these Nazis were evil, they're just evil fascists. We're learning that these Nazis are us. We are the Nazis. This is part of our human consciousness, especially when you're stuck in survival cognition. Whereas being cognition accepts and loves all humans, but not just all humans, also all animals and plants and everything, but the being cognition sees oneness with all sentient beings. So what demonization is doing is you're separating yourself from those other people, pointing your finger saying, oh, they're demons. But being cognition is seeing, oh, wait a second, I'm actually one with all of existence. Those Nazis are me. I sympathize with them. I understand their suffering. That Jewish woman, I sympathize with her. I understand her suffering. Those children in Africa, the black people, the white people, the Asian people, all of them are me. And their suffering is my suffering. Their happiness is my happiness. That's one of the qualities of moving into being cognition. So there's so this is like the difference between hate and compassion. So this is actually a good one. Hatred. I want you to think of some part of reality that you hate. I was on a coaching call today, and one of the clients was talking about how he really is just really triggered and he really hates the government because of what they're doing with all the COVID policies. Like, I really hate, I can't believe that these people are persecuting us this way. So there's a strong feeling of hatred there. So I want you to think of something you hate. Somebody you hate. See, I whenever I have these psychedelic epiphanies and these non-dual breakthroughs, I actually realize that if I can love that which I hate the most, then I literally become one with God. So this happened to me 2 or 3 times when I do a psychedelic trip and my consciousness is very expanded and I'm intentionally working on expanding my consciousness on purpose. What I do as a practice that always works for me personally is I try to find aspects of reality that I hate. Could be something my principal did to me when I was a child. Could be something that a bully did to me when I was a child. Could be the government. Could be people who make fun of me on my videos. Just something that triggers me, something that I hate. I call that into mind and then I love it. And in this way, I can actually move myself from hatred, which is separation consciousness, survival consciousness. I can move that into compassion or unconditional love. And then actually, if you do this properly, if you literally love every single aspect of reality, including the Holocaust, which is something that I always call to mind. I think of Hitler. I'm like, fuck Hitler. Like, why do I hate you so much? Like, you just really murdered like millions of people. Like, why did you do that? But I'm thinking of him, but I'm like, oh my God, like the fact that I hate him is me not realizing that I am him. And then when you realize that, you can actually have a non-dual breakthrough and you can merge and become one with all of existence. If your soul is ready, that's what will happen. By eliminating hatred, all hatred. So keep in mind, whenever you hate something, use that as a way to actually practice compassion and love. By loving those things that you hate, you taste what the sages call divinity. All right. I got another great one. So survival cognition always looks for outside validation. So we look outside for making a meaning of reality. So when I want to understand what reality is, I go look outside. So I say, oh, the scientists, please tell me what reality is. Or priest, please tell me what reality is. So your meaning-making process is offloaded and is externalized to some outside source. You're not actually taking responsibility for directly understanding how reality works. What most people do is they just kind of trust blindly what the priest tells them. They just trust what their teachers tell them. They just trust what the news tells them. But when you move into being cognition, you realize that you are the center of reality. You are the primary meaning maker. It's your responsibility to make meaning. It's your responsibility to understand reality. You can't trust me. You can't trust the news or your teacher or the scientists or the mystics. You need to do it yourself. You need to actually understand what is reality. What is it? So you actually have to turn inwards and actually observe and contemplate and doubt, be skeptical, doubt your own beliefs, doubt your own ideologies. Some people, they doubt everyone else's beliefs. It's like, oh, that scientist, oh, he's deluded. Oh, that spiritual person, oh, he's deluded. Oh, that religious person, he's deluded. But wait a second, what if you're deluded? See, what you're doing is you're projecting your delusion out onto the world, and you're trying to, fix other people's delusion. What about your delusion? What about all the stuff you're wrong about? Focus on that. So this is like Paul in the Bible. Jesus said to Paul, before you go to take the speck out of your neighbor's eye, first take the log out of your own eye. Then you'll see clearly so that you can take the speck out of your neighbor's eye. So the survival cognition gets very distracted, and the attention in general is always focused outside, out into the material world. So that's another aspect of survival cognition, is that survival cognition thinks that the world is material. Survival cognition thinks that the world is a physical, three-dimensional system that actually exists. And that if you were to die, then the world would just continue existing as it is now. But being cognition realizes that existence, reality, is actually made of your own consciousness. Not your ego's consciousness, not Adam's consciousness or John's consciousness. It's made of God's consciousness. You are consciousness. The world is consciousness. The road you're walking on is consciousness. The chair you're sitting on is consciousness. It's all a dream. It's made of pure being, pure existence. Because reality's one. It's all made of one substance, pure consciousness. I talk about this in a lot more depth in my red pill versus blue pill video. I'll link that right up there. Don't go anywhere. I'm going to take a super quick water break, and then I'm going to come back and we're going to continue this list. All right, so another major difference between survival cognition and being cognition is that survival is stuck in mind, stuck in your head, stuck in concepts, ideas. Oh, Adam, I disagree with you. You know, your philosophy is wrong. You got to read this book so that, you understand more. It's like, wait, but like, I'm not really talking about ideas. Really what I'm talking about is experience. And I'm doing the best I can to use words and ideas to accurately reflect experience, which is impossible. I can't do that. Everything I say in this video is actually completely useless because it's just words, it's just ideas. The whole point of this video is to get you to point your attention inwards onto your own experience. That's the shift. So I want you to get out of your mind debating and theorizing about things. And instead, why don't you actually ground into your experience? Say, oh, wait a second. I'm alive. Wait, what is this? What is being alive? Where the fuck did this come from? What's going on here? Wow, this is pretty miraculous. So it's not about being in my mind theorizing. When you want to move into being cognition, meditation helps a lot with this because we're letting go of thoughts, letting go of attachments, moving your energy out of your mind down into your body, into your breath, into your heart. So when the energy moves down, that allows you to be grounded in your experience. This is why when you talk to an enlightened master who's in being cognition, their attention is 100% present. They're with you. Say, hey, I'm with you here. I'm not up here thinking about something else, thinking about 10 other things. I'm just in reality. I'm in experience. Hello, hi. Meet me here in experience. This is where we are. So by moving out of survival, we actually move into our own experience. And this is what allows us to be grounded, which is super attractive for women and for guys. Very attractive to talk to a grounded human. Also great in business as well, because I'm actually here with you. I can actually give you my full attention. If you're a salesperson or if you're helping someone or whatever, I'm actually grounded. I'm with you. I want to help you, giving you attention. And then also this is great for your health. I'm grounded in my body. Wow, now I can go exercise. I can just be in my body instead of being in my thoughts, in my mind, anxiety, depression. Get out of your fucking mind. Go to the gym, go work out on the grass, roll around, laugh, have fun. That moves us to the next point, which is that survival cognition is serious. Very serious. Very, very serious. Adam, how dare you talk about Hitler in your spiritual video? That is not allowed. That's a very serious problem, the Holocaust. Wow. Extremely serious. Okay, I know it's serious, but relax. Chill the fuck out. We're just gonna be playful. playful. It's all good. Oh my God, just chill out. It's okay, relax. Shit doesn't matter that much. So you can check out my other video, how to stop being so serious and uptight all the time. What that means is like, you're serious because you think that you have something to lose. You're making judgments. You're attached, clinging. So serious about life. Like, chill the fuck out. You're literally living in an infinite holographic fractal of pure consciousness. How fucking amazing is the fact that you have a hand? Like, actually look at your hand, zoom in to the actual, you can see, like, imagine looking like at the cells, like get into your experience. Reality's a miracle. The only thing left to do when you realize that reality's a miracle is to play. Is just to skip around and relax. It's like when you go lucid in your dream. So when you're dreaming and you're trapped in jail in your dream and you're trying to escape the jail and you're all afraid, the jail warden, he's chasing you. You're trying to hop the fence. You're super serious about getting out there because it's life or death. See, sometimes life isn't as life or death as it actually seems. It's only life or death in your mind. But when you go lucid in the dream, you're running away from the jail warden, but all of a sudden you're like, wait a second, I'm not actually here. I'm fucking sleeping in my bed. And then now you're in the dream and you're like, you stop and you're just like, oh my God, what the hell? And you go look at the jail warden, he's chasing you and he's all angry, but you realize, oh, he's just made of my mind. You just go give him a big dream hug. And you realize you're just hugging yourself. And then what you can do is you can shift your dreams. So you say, okay, I'm stuck of being in this dark, dungy jail. I'm just gonna shift. I'm gonna go skip around in a beautiful sunny meadow in my dream. See, now, when you realize that your life is a dream, the only thing left to do is to play and to have fun. Believe it or not, what I'm doing here on this video, this is fun for me. I know this is a really weird form of fun, like, you know, talking about like this kind of topics, but this is fun for me. I'm having fun. And if I was so serious, if I was like, oh, I have to make a video that's gonna get views. I gotta make 10 videos a day so that my YouTube channel grows. See, now I'm disconnected. I'm not actually having fun. See, this is what's fun for me. I'm being playful. I'm just fucking around. Hey guys, we're talking about the most important topic that actually exists. Moving from survival to being cognition. And now see, there's a weird duality. Because I was so serious about learning, about studying, about figuring out life, since I was so serious about that, now I can just relax and be playful about it. Because it's like, okay, look, we got it. Look, we figured out reality. This is the whole direction of all of evolution and growth. We're moving from selfishness to selflessness, attachment to letting go, seriousness to playfulness. The Zen masters, they play with the children in the fields. They roll around in the dirt with them. They make funny faces. They sing stupid songs. Whereas the business people with their suit and their tie, they're all serious. They're going to work. Hey, shake your hand. It's all stiff handshakes. So serious about everything. Hey, this is a serious meeting. No joking around here. We're serious. Okay, so in that environment, if you're in a serious environment, yeah, you can be serious. But even when the Zen master is serious, deep down, he's just fucking around. He's just kind of pretending to be serious because he knows the other people want him to be serious. But deep down, he knows nothing means anything. Reality is a beautiful manifestation of infinite consciousness. And he's just having fun and enjoying the ride. So even when the Zen master is serious, he's doing it in a playful way. He's being serious just for fun. See, that's not what you do. You do the opposite. You're serious because you think you have to be serious. Or else something bad is going to happen to you. You're in deficiency, running away from the things you don't want. If you move into being, you realize, oh, wait, life's good. It's fine. I'm alive. We got it. Shit's going to work out somehow. I'm going to figure it out. It's all good. Trust. Have faith in the universe. Have faith in yourself. You're smart. You can figure your shit out. Just have fun. Enjoy the ride. You're going to be dead soon. You're going to be 6 feet deep in the floor. And then when you're on your deathbed, you know what you're going to wish? You're going to wish I wasn't so goddamn serious all the time. Okay? And this doesn't mean that you can't have like a strict schedule. This doesn't mean you can't be disciplined. This doesn't mean you can't be serious about your business. I'm very serious about working on my business. When I coach a client, I'm very serious about coaching them. I'm very serious about helping them. But at the same time, sometimes the way I help them is by reminding them, hey, stop being so serious. It's okay, relax. Let's be playful. But then we can be very serious about it. So what I'm saying here is there's kind of a back and forth going on here between seriousness and playfulness. And ultimately, if you want to be serious, that's important sometimes. It's good to be serious. But be serious about what's important. Be serious about your self-actualization. Be serious about helping people. Be serious about your meditation. Don't be serious about, like the score of the football game or whatever. See that? You just realize it's a fucking joke. It doesn't matter. All right? So yeah, check out my video about seriousness and playfulness more for that. Also, so survival cognition is addicted to instant gratification. Instant gratification. And the reason why is because these lower stages of development where you're in deficiency needs, you're stuck in all these judgment and seriousness, really you're actually more animalistic. You're lower on Maslow's hierarchy. So what do animals do? They instantly gratify themselves. Animals want food, sex, and pleasure and entertainment. That's what animals like. That's what monkeys like coyotes. One of the beautiful aspects of being a human being is that you can forego instant gratification for long-term gratification. And that is actually what separates us from animals. So if we look back at Maslow's hierarchy, this self-actualization rung, this is actually what it truly means to be a human being. This is what the point of life is. Like when you're stuck in food and you're just worried about getting your next meal, you're not even really a human being, you're just an animal at that point. But as we move up, we develop ourselves. Now, when we move into self-actualization, we get into creativity, spontaneity, playfulness, oneness, compassion, becoming the best version of yourself, learning. See, these are all self-actualization drives. This is really what it means to be a human being. And these higher needs, because there's lower needs, the higher needs are needs, you actually need them, or else you're going to be depressed and miserable. You need to learn the skill of long-term gratification so that you can achieve these higher needs and you can actually understand what it means to be a human being. So when you meditate every day for years, Sometimes you're meditating and you're like, what the fuck is this? This doesn't work. What the hell is this bullshit? I'm just sitting down. My back hurts. My knees hurt. What the hell is going on? Why am I doing this? And then you quit. And you say, I'm just going to go eat some food. That sounds like a lot more fun. See, when you forego long-term gratification and you replace it with instant gratification, you don't realize that, okay, sure, you're going to eat that food. It's going to make you feel good for a bit, but then what? You're going to play that video game. You're going to beat the game, but then what? Instant gratification leaves you feeling hollow afterwards. It's like give and take. So I take a pull of a joint. Yeah, I feel good for 30 minutes, but then 2 hours later, I'm just kind of tired and groggy and foggy. Whereas long-term gratification is like the first week of meditation, I'm confused. I don't know what's going on. It's uncomfortable. But then after a month, there's slowly your baseline level of vibration, your baseline level of being starts to rise. And you just start to feel more aware, more conscious, more relaxed, more calm all the time. This is the beauty of long-term gratification. So it's the same with going to the gym. Going to the gym is painful in the beginning, but after a while, you get to keep your muscles. You get to have them. They stay with you all the time. Whereas when you eat food, you eat it, the taste lasts for 10 minutes and then it's gone. When you play that video game, I've played 3,000 hours of League of Legends. I'm a master at that game. But really, what have I learned? Nothing. Because when you master something that gives you only instant gratification, like a video game, see, my whole life is instant gratification, but now I have nothing to show for it in that area. So those 3,000 hours, maybe I could have read more books or meditated more. But instead, now I'm really good at League of Legends and I know how to win in that game, which is a useless skill. So long-term gratification is doing something that's hard and a little bit less fun, but then it gives you results long-term as opposed to short-term. All right? So also, let's see what our next point is. Okay, so for the difference between survival and being cognition is that survival cognition is the victim of life. You're suffering through life. You feel like life is happening to you and you have no control. Like, oh, my living situation, if only, my parents weren't so mean to me, then I could be successful. But I'm just the victim here. If only my girlfriend wasn't so much of a bitch, then I could finally be happy. Oh, the economy. Oh, the economy's not allowing me to make money. Oh, it's the liberals. Oh, it's the conservatives. You're the victim. Life, you feel like life is happening to you. But when you start to merge and become one with reality, you realize that you're the only person here. There's actually no such thing as another person that is occurring outside of your own consciousness. You are the one creator of existence. It's you. You're the self. You're God. You're the timeless awareness. That's what you are. So whose fault is it that you have problems in your life? Whose fault? Oh, that other person out there that's separate from me? The government out there, the world out there, it's the world's fault that you have problems? No, the world is occurring within you. You create the world the way you want to because it has to do with you. So being cognition takes responsibility for your life. So, oh shit, I have no results in dating. I can't attract women. Well, the reason why is not because women are just shallow whores and that feminism has corrupted their minds. The real reason why you have no results with women is because you're not social enough, you don't know enough about dating skills, you haven't practiced enough, you're too insecure, all you do is play video games at home, you're not interested in self-actualization, your life is boring, you're ugly because you don't work out, you don't shower, you don't get a haircut. That's why you have no results with girls. Because you don't work towards it. Because you haven't taken responsibility for it. You blame the girls. You blame your high school. You blame Generation Z or whatever. Oh, all the girls are so shallow. They just scroll on Instagram. That's why I can't get any results. No, the reason why is because you suck because you're a victim. And that's the end of that. Yeah, so, okay. I think we're reaching the end here. We're reaching the end of this list. Now it's time to start talking about the techniques. Okay, so how do you actually shift yourself into being cognition? Okay, so the first step is to understand what I just spoke about. Okay, that's the first step, and it's actually the main step. So congratulations if you've made it this far in the video. You get 10 self-actualization points. Good job. This is actually very useful information because you're understanding the big picture of what's going on here, the deep patterns of growth. Okay, that's very important. So now that you have that conceptual understanding, now when I tell you that meditation is one of the main techniques for growing yourself, now you actually understand what growing yourself even means. You understand, okay, so I'm moving from seriousness to playfulness. I'm moving from selfishness to selflessness. I'm moving from thinking reality is material to thinking reality is made of consciousness. So now I actually know what the direction of this growth is. And the next technique, so meditation is the main one. You need to just sit down daily for 20 minutes, 30 minutes, and observe your thoughts. And very soon I'm actually going to be releasing a guided meditation. I'm going to be showing you one of my favorite meditations, which is the surrender meditation. So instead of fighting against reality, which is something the survival cognition would do, instead we just surrender to reality. We rest deeply in our own being. And that's very rejuvenative, very restful, and it just makes you feel very awake and clear and conscious. So I'm going to be sharing that meditation with you for free very soon. I've just been kind of messing around. I'm trying to make it like an opt-in so that you can get the meditation. I can email you, and then also you can be added to my exclusive email list where I share with you a weekly newsletter where I give you insights and I share other free meditations and courses. So I'm just figuring out the actual technology for that. It'll be up in a few days. So that free meditation is great, but just meditation in general. So just sitting down, being mindful, being aware. I'm actually thinking of making a course where it's just the basics, the ultimate meditation guide, everything you need to know, posture, technique, breathing, all that stuff. I've been learning it for like 5 years now. I was thinking of making a really in-depth mini course about it. So if that's something you'd be interested in, just leave a comment down below. Say, yeah, make that fucking mini course. That sounds good. So then I'll make it. But yeah, so meditation, just, sit down and observe your thoughts, basically. And that's kind of bringing you out of the forest so that you can zoom out and see the entire forest, as opposed you're getting out of the trees and into the forest. Okay, so survival cognition gets lost in the trees, gets lost in the little details of life, gets sucked in by the mind, whereas being cognition is able to zoom out and to detach from the mind, from distractions, from the details. Detach from the little details and just rest in your being, rest in awareness. Okay, that's the essence of meditation. Very important to have a daily habit for that. Also, studying life is the next technique. This one is a little bit more involved. I think it's very important to commit yourself to lifelong learning. That's why I have a video reading tips for people who are too lazy to read books. Really, at the end of the day, if you want to start building a good, solid mental understanding of reality, then you just need to start reading some books every week, every month. Start reading some personal development, self-actualization content, but from many different perspectives. So if you've only been reading about spirituality for the last year, now you need to shift it. Now you need to start learning about business and marketing. Or maybe you need to learn about success and habit creation. Or if you've only been learning about dating and relationships, now you need to shift. Now you need to learn more about history and politics. So in that video, I give you a long list of all different topics that are important to study. But see, when you study many different perspectives of life, you're actually educating yourself and you're separating yourself from the 99% of people. Because the herd, the masses, they don't want to read books. There's all these books. We got Toward a Psychology of Being by Abraham Maslow, which is what this video is based on. No one wants to read this book. People, they'd rather scroll on Instagram. So if you're the one person who can read this book, you're going to have rare and valuable wisdom that you can use for your own growth and to assist other people's growth as well, which is what we're going to talk about more in the application section of this video. So you got to be the one person. Look at this. Look at this book. Sex, Ecology, Spirituality. I fucking love this book. And I'm only on page 30, to be honest. But I'm getting through it slowly, and no one ever wants to read this, ever. It's like 900 pages. No one wants to read it. But if you are the one person who wants to read it, now you're going to actually be able to move up Maslow's hierarchy. You're going to start to move into stage yellow and turquoise in the spiral dynamics model. So that's a very important method. Study life. Listen to gurus. Listen to experts. Many people, many victims are very critical about the whole personal development industry. It's like, oh, personal development, that's just a scam. And to be honest, some of it can be a scam. So sometimes people will position themselves as personal development teachers, and they'll just say, oh yeah, I got, personal development, this, that, here, come buy my course, it's $9,000. And then the course doesn't actually help you with anything, and they don't get too many results. That's like all marketing, but no substance. So that's a problem. Some personal development teachers are scams. Be mindful of that. But then on the other hand, there are some human beings on earth that are fucking beautiful examples of self-actualizing human beings, like Tony Robbins, or like Leo Gura on actualize.org, or like Shinzen Young, the meditation master. Or there's just so many like amazing content creators, experts that have awesome content for you to listen to, that actually teach you new things. So get off your high horse. You don't know everything about reality. You always have something new to learn. Go listen to some expert or some, awakened masters. Go listen to some personal development teachers. Let them teach you. Okay? Be humble. Say, hey, I don't know fuck all. I don't know anything. Please teach me for the love of God. Just doing that simple thing, being humble, has helped me so much, because now when I realize I don't know the answers to business questions, to coaching questions, to spiritual questions, when I realize that, now I'm willing to go and ask for help. I'm willing to buy a course that's going to help me, or hire a coach that's going to help me. And I've spent tens of thousands of dollars on my personal development, and it's paying me back dividends now. Now I'm moved out of my parents' house. I'm 21 years old, and I have my own coaching business teaching personal development on YouTube. That's what I fucking love to do, and I'm doing it full time because I've spent so much money and time and energy and just learning, okay? And teaching myself. So that's the point here. Invest in yourself if you want to move into being cognition. Next, so psychedelics are also a great tool for moving into being cognition. However, I actually need to make another video talking about all of the traps and dangers of psychedelics, because people are just kind of diving into this whole rabbit hole, and they're not prepared at all. It's like they're going into the forest of Fangor in the Lord of the Rings, and there's monsters and demons, but they don't even have a sword with them. So you're unarmed going into the dangerous forest. So don't do that. I'm going to be making more videos about mushrooms and LSD and how to use them safely and properly. I'm actually going to be interviewing an expert in this topic, and that video will be out next week, so stay tuned for that. But psychedelics are awesome. They can just really give you like a 6 to 8 hour glimpse of being cognition, so you actually understand what I'm saying and you grasp it directly. And it's not just theory, but it's like, oh shit, like being cognition, I get it, Adam. I get it. Actually, I embody it and I get it now. All right, and then once you use those psychedelics responsibly with intention by listening to a video like this and by learning and by following my advice, then shit's gonna start to coalesce for you. All the disparate strands are gonna start to be weaved together, and you're gonna start to see the big picture. And you're gonna be like, oh damn, like Adam wasn't joking around. When Adam was saying reality's made of pure consciousness, he wasn't being cute. He was being serious. Or he was being playful. Who knows? You won't know. Also, journaling is an amazing technique. Amazing. I'm going to make a video about journaling, but the best journaling technique you can use is just opening up your journal and just writing down how you feel without any filter. So it's kind of like a thought spew. Just like vomit your thoughts onto the paper, and that is going to help you to just process your emotions. And that's also going to help you to gain some awareness. Like, oh, this emotion was deep down locked in my body, but I kind of processed it through the journal. Now I'm aware of where I'm at. I know how I feel now. And now I can start to journal about an action plan. So, okay, what's the next step for me? Based on how I feel now, that I'm aware of now because I journaled about it. Now, what are the next steps for me? What book do I need to buy? What teacher do I need to call or consult with? What course do I need to take or retreat do I need to go on? Or what book do I, so just... You start learning the action plan. What do I need to implement? Do I need to meditate? Do I need to exercise? So journaling is just a great way to become aware of your own mind and to just kind of organize your thoughts and your life. Okay? So I'm going to make a video with more journaling exercises in depth, but... journaling is very powerful. You can use it to visualize as well. You can use it to imagine what's your ideal life scenario. What's your dream life? Journal about your dream life. That is an extremely powerful exercise. You can write affirmations in your journal. I'm confident. I'm excited to be alive. I love reality. Just write it. It feels good. When you write something, it kind of gets ingrained into your subconscious mind. Another journaling technique off the top of my head, you can do guided journaling as well. So you can get journaling questions like from coaches or from other teachers, and you can do guided journaling as well. So those are great journaling exercises. Now let's talk about how this topic here actually applies to your life and to society as a whole. So we're going to erase this on the board. Now let's start by talking about relationships. So we've already spoken about how really the main key to all dating and getting success in dating is not being needy. And what I've noticed is as I do self-actualization, as I read books and I meditate, and as I actually work on my own consciousness and I learn about existence, as I continue doing that, now my actual consciousness is able to ground in the present moment, and I'm able to be aware, and I'm able to be transparent and wear my insecurities on my sleeve. And that just makes me way more attractive to girls. And this is kind of like the skeleton key that unlocks all the different areas of your life that you're struggling to fix, like your dating, your business, you keep hitting up against the same obstacles. This is like the skeleton key that unlocks the magic pathway. Moving into being cognition, when you go talk to a girl and you're a guy, but you're actually conscious, you're in being cognition, you're aware of the magnificent beauty of reality, and you go talk to this girl and you're playful and you're relaxed and it's all good and you're just talking to your own dream character, right? Because you're talking to the girl's not even separate from you, she's literally you. So you're just talking to yourself. And see, this is way more attractive than coming up to this girl in a needy state of lack where you're contracted, you're afraid, you think reality is physical and three-dimensional. You think that this interaction with this girl actually matters on the big scheme of the whole cosmos. You think you talking to this one girl actually matters at all. You're attached, you're serious. See, she's going to feel that off you, and she's going to get scared. She's going to be like, fuck, this guy is terrified to talk to me. Now, maybe I should be terrified. All right? So if you just chill out and rest in your own awareness, and then you go talk to a girl, it actually works a lot better. So this is the difference between principles and techniques. So I could give you a pickup line that you go repeat word for word to the girl, and then think that that pickup line is going to get her attracted to you. Or you can learn the actual principles of attraction, the actual, like the mechanics of like how life works, and then you can embody those principles, and then you don't have to worry about what you say or even how you say it. All you got to worry about is just being the best version of yourself. And then everything flows naturally. So also this applies to your business. We mentioned before that if you're connected to being cognition, now you're actually going to be more purpose driven. So many people, they're starting businesses, but the business they're starting, they don't even really care about what they're doing. They don't even care about the impact that they're having on society. You're starting a business and you're like selling e-commerce mugs from China. You're selling like these like Amazon mugs, and you're just like trying to like make up a quick profit off of them. And you're wondering, you're like, Adam, just been feeling so unmotivated in my business, or I've been feeling so lost in life. I have been lacking discipline. Yet the reason why you're unmotivated is because what you're doing doesn't matter to you. You're doing it out of lack. You have this business because you're afraid of being poor. Instead, when you move into being cognition, think about, what do I want to create in the world? See, now it gets more difficult. Now it's like, oh, now I need to actually self-reflect. Now I need to actually do guided journaling exercises. Now I need to actually have someone guide me through this process of soul searching into my heart to discover my deepest passion. See, this is scary. It's a lot easier to dropship mugs from China. It's a lot harder to actually dive into the heart of your being to see what your soul wants to share with the world, and then to actually take steps to begin to embody that. See, that takes a lot more study. It takes more effort. It takes more awareness and consciousness. But in long term, you'll notice that your motivation for your business is 1,000,000 times higher because now you're purpose driven. You actually have a mission. You're actually trying to impact the world. You'll notice you can charge higher prices because your work is better. You help people better because you care about what you're doing. You are of the most service to the world when you are aligned with your natural strengths and your natural inclinations and your natural passions. And when you are of the most service, then you get paid the most because you're helping the most. The more you help, the more value you add to people's lives, the more money you can charge because you're fucking helping them so much, it's worth it. So that's practically how that affects your business. Also, so many other aspects of your productivity as well. Like, if you're constantly fighting against reality and you're saying, oh, I'm struggling with discipline, I always get burnt out, and then I just veg out and I eat a whole bunch of, chips and pizza and ice cream, and then that makes me feel sad and I start to judge myself. I fall off the bandwagon. The reason why is because you're in survival cognition. You're trying to force everything to happen. You're trying to fight against reality. It's a lot easier to be productive and to work when you're flowing with your body's natural rhythms. When you're doing other practices like meditation, eating healthy, you're exercising, your consciousness is surrendered to the process. You're focusing on the process more so than the result. I'm not so worried about, oh, I need to hit this income goal. I need to make this much money or else I'm going to be poor. Instead of worrying about the outcome, that's survival cognition. Instead, being cognition, focus on the process. Focus on being the ideal version of yourself. Focus on surrendering to life. That helps you get into the flow state. When you get into the flow state, you can focus better. You can work better. You can get more work done. All right. Also, so for your health, this helps your health big time. Because when you're connected to being, when you're present and aware and conscious in the moment, then now you actually know what food is good for you and what food is bad for you. Many people just eat the same food over and over again, and every single time it hurts their stomach, but they're not even aware that it hurts their stomach because they're living their life in a dream state. They're like a zombie walking through life. They have no awareness of their own body. They're disconnected from their intuition. And they just keep eating pizza every day. and then they're getting fat. And they're like, why am I getting fat? Damn, maybe I should go find some pill that I can take so that I can lose weight. So no, the problem is you're in survival cognition, you're unconscious. You need to become conscious. If you want the magic, the ultimate solution to all of life, every practical area of life, you need to become more conscious, more awake, more aware, more of a creator. So that was another one that we forgot to talk about. Whereas survival cognition is reactive, whereas being cognition is creative. What's the difference between reacting and creating? Well, Conversations with God said that when you see properly, you move from being reactive to being creative. The reason why is because the C here is in the wrong spot. We got to move the C. So the C and reactive is over here. We got to move it to the front. When you move the C over, you become creative. So when you see properly, you move from being in a state of reaction to being creative. What does this mean? So most people are just reacting against life. You get a craving and then you just go chase the craving. Or you experience some pain, some suffering, and you just repress it and you run away from it and you hide from it. You just react. It's like a knee-jerk reaction. Most people are living their lives based on knee-jerk reactions. Whereas when you become a conscious creator of your life, you are detached from the content of life. You're detached from thoughts. You're detached from your emotions. You're just observing them with neutrality. Now, when something triggers you, when somebody hurts your feelings, instead of doing the knee-jerk reaction and getting angry and yelling at them, instead, you can take a pause. Someone hurts my feelings. You feel the trigger, but since you practice meditation, you can allow the trigger to move through you. This is what it means by going with the flow of life. You see the Taekwondo masters or the Judo masters, they use their opponent's force against them, Tai Chi. That's what it is. So someone goes to strike you, and instead of resisting it, when you resist it, it's going to hurt a lot, and it's actually going to throw you off balance because you're rigid. On the other hand, if someone throws a strike at you and you're a Tai Chi master, the strike, you actually move with the energy of it. And it kind of do this thing where it's you absorb the strike and then you allow it to move through you, and then you're not moved from your ground. You stay grounded. And it hurts a lot less. So when you accept and embrace experience, you become aware of it and you allow it to move through you. Now you can be creative. You can consciously choose your path. As opposed to being strung along by life based on what your mind wants or doesn't want, now you can detach from the mind and make a conscious decision from your heart. What does my heart want to create? What does my soul want to create? That's the difference between deficiency needs and abundance needs. Self-actualizing people focus on the positive. What do I want to create that's positive? Versus on what do I don't want to create? I'm reacting against life as opposed to imposing my will upon life and creating the type of life that I want. All right. Also, so this just this topic here is also very relevant to social and collective issues as well. So when we talk about politics, for example, you notice that what's going on in our governments is that everyone is just fighting for their own selfish agenda. So the oil company is lobbying the government. Why is the oil company giving the government $2 million, $5 million, $10 million? So that the government doesn't pass a law that prevents the oil company from making a killing in the marketplace. So the oil company, they don't care about the well-being of the whole. The CEO, he's not in being consciousness. He's in survival consciousness. He just needs his company to survive. He needs all of his shareholders to make a profit. He's not actually interested in the well-being of and the harmony of the system of the whole globe. He's just thinking about, hey, how can I make some more money so that, I can drive my car and go swim in my pool. It's selfish. It's survival cognition. And what's even funnier is that the people that make up the government, so democracy, in Canada we have a democracy, in the US we have democracy. What does that mean? It's government by the people, of the people, for the people. So how stupid are you to blame the government for the world's problems? Oh, it's the government's fault that, inflation. Yeah, it's the government's fault. But you're forgetting the core tenet of democracy, that it's government of the people, by the people, for the people, which means the government isn't separate from you. That's the beauty of democracy, is that you are the government. The people govern themselves. In the past, the king or the monarch would rule over the people, and he would just exercise and enforce his will on the people, and they had to follow his rules. But nowadays, you get a vote. You get to influence the government. You get to choose what leaders you want. But since you're stuck in survival cognition, you're stuck in ideology, blaming people, where another tenet we forgot was ideology, which is where you just believe things that other people tell you, just kind of fall into a system of thinking. Whereas the being cognition is interested in open-mindedness. So maybe I'm wrong. Oh, so my ideology is telling me that it's all Joe Biden's fault, that, the government isn't working properly because he eats babies and, rapes women or whatever they think he does. So that's an ideology. Maybe he doesn't do that. Maybe I'm going to be open-minded here. Maybe all those people that are telling me that, maybe they're wrong. And see, it's funny because the conspiracy theorists, which we need to talk about in another video, conspiracy theorists, they actually weaponize open-mindedness. They say, oh, no, I'm the open-minded one. See, because I, think that, I don't watch the news. So really, I'm the one that's open-minded. No, you got to be really open-minded. You got to be so open-minded that maybe what you think is true is wrong. Just maybe what you think is true is wrong. So when you're stuck in an ideology, then you don't even know how anything works. You don't know how economics works. You don't know how business works. You don't know how government works. You don't know anything at all. You think you know how it works, but you don't. You're just walking around. It's like freedom. We need freedom. So you actually don't even know what the word freedom means. That's a loaded word. There's, in order to create freedom, we need regulation. We need laws to create freedom. And when you vote for politicians who are corrupt, who are accepting payments from oil companies, that are accepting payments from the meat industry, then you're going to get a corrupt government. Why is the government corrupt? You know why? Because you're corrupt. You're corrupted by ideologies, by victim mindsets, by your own selfishness. You can't see reality clearly because you haven't moved into being cognition. Your reality's distorted. You think that up is down and left is right. You think that what's good for everyone is the exact thing that is what's not good for everyone. So my point is that because you're corrupt, you vote for a corrupt government, and now the government's corrupt. So if you had being cognition, you'd be able to see, okay, a massive problem in our political system is corporate lobbying. The fucking companies are paying the government to pass laws that are in their best interests, but not in the people's best interests. The point of the government is what is in the people's best interests. How do we help as many people as possible live a good life? It's very simple and very straightforward, actually. Many people will tell me, oh, Adam, that sounds like communism. No, actually, you don't even know what communism is. That's not communism. That's just the point of democracy, is that we're trying to increase the quality of life of all people. So when you vote for a government that is corrupted by corporate lobbying, by the oil companies, now you're not voting for what's in your best interest. Now you're voting for what's in the oil company's best interests. So for example, a candidate like Bernie Sanders, what was so cool about him was that he ran without any support from big companies like Starbucks or McDonald's. They like sponsored the other candidates. Bernie Sanders was running just purely based off of donations from the common people. So he wasn't taking corporate donations, only people-based donations. See, when you vote for a politician like that, now you know the person you're electing into power, whose best interest does he have in mind? He's now not going to be swayed by the oil companies lobbying or by the meat companies, the meat industry's lobbying, because he got into power without any help, from those companies. He got into power because the people voted for him, and once you have someone like that in power, now he can actually make a decision from a place of being cognition, not selfishness cognition. So it sounds here like I'm getting political. People don't like when I get political. They're like, oh, Adam, why are you talking about politics? I thought we were talking about spirituality. But really, what politics is we're trying to increase the common good for all people. We're trying to increase the quality of life. And the main thing that prevents that is corruption. And corruption stems from you specifically being stuck in survival cognition. Because by definition, corruption is when you try and control and manipulate reality to serve your selfish benefit, but not to serve the benefit of the entire system, for the whole hive. Once I left a comment on someone's video, I said, what is good for the hive must be good for the individual bees. And that's actually a quote from Marcus Aurelius, the philosopher emperor who lived 2,000 years ago. I like that quote because when you want to pass a policy in government, what is going to help the most people, especially the middle class? So free healthcare, that's great for the middle class. But someone responded to my comment. They're like, oh, that sounds like communism. So then we have people like that voting who don't even know the basic of basics, which is the point of government is to make as many people as possible live in a higher quality of life. It's very simple, very straightforward. But anyways, we're stuck in ideology, stuck in survival. Everyone's running around talking about freedom and whatever. And really, it's just survival cognition. Your corrupt people vote for corrupt governments. And then your government is corrupt. And now the education isn't being funded properly. The healthcare is not being funded properly. They're not making investments. They're wasting money. They're not spending it in strategic areas to boost the future. The point of a country, the point of your life is to invest in your future. Invest in yourself. Buy a course. Read a book. Invest in your future. But as a country, as a whole, it's the same thing. Invest in the future. What is the future? The future is education. So a lot of politicians, they don't invest in education. And I'm not talking about a little bit of investment. I'm talking about, yeah, okay, we'll give, 2% to education. I'm talking about a complete overhaul of the entire educational system. So that the actual mission of the education system is not to create workers so that they can get hired by the factory. That's the old purpose of the education system, what we have now. The new purpose of the education system can be, how do we actually educate children so that they can align their lives to their natural strengths? They can learn about what they're passionate about. They can build their skills so that they can go on to create a career for themselves that they love. That's in alignment with Maslow's hierarchy and self-actualization needs. Anyways, so that's a long tangent, but that's how this affects politics. And then that bleeds into the environment as well. Because ultimately, if you're voting for the wrong people, you're fucking everything up, basically. And now see, there's going to be a lot of nonsense in the comments. People who got this far, there's going to be a lot of nonsense saying like, oh, Adam, but how do you know who the right people are? See, by just fucking being in being cognition and then recognizing who else is in being cognition. If you're in being cognition and you're awake and aware of the true nature of reality and you're doing self-actualization, you can recognize who is doing self-actualization and who isn't. So, just as a politically charged example, when you see Bernie Sanders, his policies are in alignment with the principles of oneness. So yeah, we're trying to help, free healthcare for all. We're trying to slash all student debt. We're going to get rid of all student debt. That's a great fucking idea because young people like me, I don't have any student debt at all because I'm smart. But a lot of people have $100,000 of student debt and then they graduate and now your job is paying you $20 an hour and now you're trying to live and pay off your 100 grand of student debt at the same time. So Bernie Sanders is saying, hey, free tuition for everyone and we're going to slash all student debt. That sounds like a good fucking idea in my opinion. That sounds like a great fucking idea. But a lot of people will say, well, Adam, how are we going to pay for this? Come on, Adam. How are we going to pay for this? See, what do you mean, how are we going to pay for this? We're talking about the education of all of our entire society. It pays for itself. That's like people saying, oh, I don't have enough money to buy a book. Oh, $20 for a book. Oh, that's too much. You don't understand. The book pays for itself. In the same way, when you invest in education, when you give free tuition to your populace, it pays for itself. It's very simple, very straightforward. The problem is we're distracted. We're dancing around talking about freedom, this, vaccines, COVID, feminism. Everyone's fighting against each other because we're in survival cognition. Maslow said being cognition has increased problem centering. What that means is when I look at a system, I can see, okay, where is the problem stemming from? What's the center of the problem? And how can I fix it at the core? As opposed to when you're in survival cognition, you're just kind of lost in the details. You're lost on the surface. That's why what I'm telling you here, I'm telling you how to fix your life and society at the core. This is increased problem centering. We actually see. So, okay, the problem is our people are fucking retarded and they're voting for retarded candidates. So let's educate them. See, but then there's a whole feedback loop. But you understand what I'm saying. The corporate lobbying is a big problem because corporate interest is being confused for the people's interest. But what's good for the oil company and the meat industry is not necessarily good for the average Joe who is working a 9-to-5. All right. Yeah, and I think we've basically covered it all. So this, just to recap, this was how to shift yourself into being consciousness. This information is coming from the study of a wide variety of sources, all of which have to do with developmental psychology, spirituality, models of human growth that I've been studying for over 5 years. And what I've done is I've tried my best to condense all the principles here so that you understand the general trend of all of human growth. This was realizing that at a certain point, there's a shift from tier 1 to tier 2, from deficiency needs to being needs. So really, when you realize that this is the shift that's happening, we're shifting from being a victim to being responsible. We're shifting from seriousness to playfulness, from selfishness to selflessness, from attachment to letting go, from techniques and rules to principles, from controlling to accepting, from fighting against reality to flowing with reality, from being stuck in the trees to zooming out and seeing the entire forest, from being insecure to secure, from hiding to being transparent, from being stuck in the mind to being grounded in your experience, from being reactive to creative, from being hateful to being compassionate. You actually see this is the direction of growth. And now that you see this, now you can actually walk the path because you know where the path is. Otherwise, again, you're just stuck in distractions. You're trying to do this thing. You're trying to do, you're trying to make some money on this side tangent over here. You're trying to use this get rich quick scheme or this dating advice here that's just like all gimmicky. I'm not interested in gimmicks. I'm interested in principles. So by shifting your being at the core, everything else starts to fall into place. All right. And that's all I got to say here. If you like this video, leave it a like, thumbs up. This is what I'm going to be talking about on my channel for the rest of eternity. As long as YouTube exists, this is what I'm going to be talking about. And I'm super excited. This is really only the beginning. I have an infinite amount of videos to make because I am connected to infinite intelligence, because I'm connected to the source of existence. So are you, and you can make your art in your way, in your own form of intelligence. This is my form of art. This is what I like doing. I'm going to do it for the rest of eternity. And basically just interested in helping you shift yourself from survival cognition to being cognition. This is what helps you get results in your business, in your dating, in your health, in your emotional mastery, and also just helps you feel happy and helps you understand the beauty and profundity of existence. And the ultimate goal, the core reason why I do anything, is that one day I want you to get to the point where you actually directly realize what you are. And when you get to that point and you actually break through and you let go of all of your selfish attachment and you just are bathed in infinite love, I want you to actually realize that this is what I was talking about. And when that happens to you, when you finally reunite with your source, I'm going to be smiling and I'm going to be very happy that you've come home. Okay? So that's all I have to say here. Recently, actually, I've opened up 2 spots for my coaching. I've just finished with my other clients. So 2 spots are available now. If you wanted to talk to me one-on-one, if you wanted to get an experience of very powerful coaching, then just come talk to me one-on-one. I actually am going to put a application form in the description below, so you can click, you can apply. The reason why is because I don't want to talk to people who are not serious about their own personal development. I'm not interested in talking to people who aren't coachable and who are just like joking around with their life. I only want to talk to people who really see what I'm saying here, which is why I offer this at the end of the video. I only want to talk to people who actually care about growing themselves and about genuinely self-actualizing. Those are the people that I want to talk to, and those are the only people that I want to work with. So you can apply in the description. If I feel like you actually like want to help yourself, then I would love to coach you and to help you and to guide you and to even help you realize the true nature of reality. The other day I was coaching a client, and literally for like 45 minutes at the end of the call, he was just crying in bliss because he literally directly realized that reality is made of pure consciousness. And directly was just like, it was a surreal experience for me to be able to guide someone through that. And that was inspiring for me because I realized I want to do more of that. So if you want help with your spirituality and your self-actualization about any of the topics we talked about here, then fill out that application form. And if I think that I actually want to talk to you, then I'll reach out to you and we'll book a call. All right. So besides that, hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you in the next video.